This is the Silver's Media and the News. It's a weekend edition. And we usually do weekend editions, folks. But I want to tell you something. We need your donations. This is serious, folks. We're a Christian organization and we're for profit because we do have business here. That's how we're able to do that. And we take monies as well as we take donations because it's taxable, it's legal, and it's rightful. What we need you to do is, if you like what we're doing, to please let us know by sending a donation. It's so important because when I said I needed help with the electric, I really meant it. When I said I needed help with the rent, I really meant it. And I'm being very truthful to you. I've always been very transparent to you. And some people have really come after me about my character, have put me down, saying I don't have a real church, have said things about me that were disparaging, that should not have been said, that were just falsehoods about me, saying that I'm just using my business or my church name to get people to pay my bills. Well, when you have a church, you have bills too. It just happens to be where I live, but I'm not using people to pay my bills. I'm using people's donations to pay the church bills. Because yes, I live here, but I also work here and I also have a church here. So the bills that you are paying is what the bills that are created by the church. So if you could help me out in that regard, I would appreciate it. Another thing you could do to give is by coming here and let me do some computer work for you. I'm very good with taxes, tax preparation. I'm really good with working on computers. I fix them all the time, and I'm good with setting up computers and TVs and electronics. I'm really good with networking and fixing security issues that you may have on your small business land or on your homeland network. And, I've done some government work too as well. So, there's things that I can do for you. And can definitely get it straight right the first time. Because we're not going to do it if it's not right. Because that's not good business. And that's not the kind of business I operate. So we make sure we do it. If we can't do it, we'll let you know. And, you can decide whether you just want to walk in and have your computer looked at from time to time. Or you can become a contract. You have a contract, you be a client. And sometimes that can be a cheaper deal, with your business. And which, if you have more than one computer over time, and you don't have to always pay something because you pay so much a month, which covers most of the stuff that you would normally get. As long as it doesn't go over that amount, there won't be no additional cost, depending on what plan you sign up for. But under contract. But just give me a call. I'm Michael DeSilva. I'm the CEO here who runs the show. And I'm a preacher here too on Sunday and Thursday night, and Sunday night too. And we have New Hunter Church service here as well. So, just give me a call at area code 804-789-9373. And you can call me on my cell phone at area code 804-399-8244. We really do need work. We need it ASAP. We got stuff here we can sell. Lots of things that we can do. So when I say that we need the money, I'm not lying. And I'm not making something up. And I'm definitely not trying to steal from the church. I'm not doing any of those things that I've been accused of. I mean, I'm a real church, and we really have a facility here, and we really operate as a church, just like Paul Green or any of you all out here operate. We're not 503 though, but we're for profit, and you can operate that way too. We won't have as much stipulations as you all have. The 503 services, churches, but that's not bad. Home churches don't have as many regulations as, say, Paul Green or Fairmount or any of these other churches out here have, because it's true. They know that. They're 503. They're going to have a lot more. But anyway, let's get into the news. We got some of the business out of the way, Try. Blow off wipes. Good for your computer screens and also your VCR and microwaves. 40 wipes are in this container. That's right. It'll last a long time. That's one of the products we sell. But anyway, let's get into the news. All right. Like I said, if we don't start getting donations here by the next week, we will go completely dark here. Everything that's broadcast on YouTube, everything will stop. And the news from InfoWars and all will stop. Because we need donations. People are watching it, but they're not donating. And that I'm being very seriously, because we have thousands of dollars that need to be paid with the licenses and things. And we need money to come in from you so we can continue to do what we're doing here. The shows, the series on homosexuality, the Jacob series. I haven't done that yet, but we're going to be doing that here in the upcoming weeks. But all this stuff is contingent upon your giving. Okay. And that's what we need, because all churches, whether we're online, we have an online ministry, but we also have a physical ministry where you can come in here too. But I do that, I tape this at a different time so you don't see people in the background because they don't want to be on tape. So ask questions, don't assume anything. All right, Mr. Magoo? All right, ask questions. EL, ask questions. Don't assume anything. Okay? Well, some of y'all made a lot of statements that are really not true about me and about what's going on here. So I just want to clear the air. But in the news today, first of all, the U.S. government has been hacked. Their computer systems and networks have been hacked, largely due in part the hacks are coming from China. And this hack has been going on for over 3 months now. It has now been declassified public, but they have just acted like it just happened. So the whole government is panicked because we don't know how much information they stole from these servers. That's number one. Number two, we don't know what all the stuff they got, But the thing is, we know they got a lot of information on people that work high up in the CIA and in Homeland Security, private eye kind of work. A lot of their names and clearances and top clearance files of people's credentials and all have been stolen. And they do believe that, like I said, this is largely coming from China. Some of it is coming from North Korea, and some of it is coming a little bit from Russia. But the deadliest soul of where all this is mostly coming from is from China. And of course, they say that we're irresponsible, but yet we trace it's called a reverse that we do. We do a trace, and we can trace it all the way through the cables, and it goes right to them. It goes to China, to Hong Kong, China, or and a couple other regions in that area where they are in that part of the world. They've been always trying to steal stuff from us and always been trying to do something to us. And now that things are getting bad over here, now they're trying to attack us cyberly to steal our secrets and information, just like I first feared, because we did talk about vulnerabilities that the government had. We couldn't talk about it fully because a lot of it's classified, but what I could share with you, there were some serious vulnerabilities, and even Edward Snowden brought that out in his leaks of a lot of things that were not being addressed or fixed and still aren't fixed, and that's why these attacks were successful. And that's why they did happen, because they knew of these vulnerabilities on their systems, and that's how they were able to get in and take the information. So when I'm saying is government, you need to get on virtual machines, you get your stuff separate from the internet, don't have it connected to the internet always, don't trust anyone with all your stuff. Keep everything on a private, separate server that's not access to the outside world. If you need to make updates, make them on a CD-ROM, or make them on a thumb drive that's been pre-scanned to make sure it doesn't have any viruses in there, and something like that, so it doesn't have to connect to add those updates in. Also, there were 2 attacks, 2 assaults, 2 standoffs. One in Dallas, Texas, where an armored van opened fire on a police station this morning and shot at police cars in the police station, and of course they got the person in custody. Another attack was right here at home at the Henrico State Police Headquarters in Henrico, Virginia, and where there was a standoff at 2:30 in the morning, and it resulted where the police had to use flashbang grenades to defuse the standoff because the negotiations they had failed, so that's what they had to resort to. And they were shooting at the police too, so they had to use that to get the person in custody, and state police got him in custody at this time. So, what I'm going to say as a warning, I know a lot of police that would give their life for me and for you if necessary, because they love their job and they like to protect people. I know there's a lot of them here in Hanover County that are like that. They're not bad cops. So all you people out here that are from these groups, and who are being funded by Mr. Soros, who's behind this militia to go and, shoot the police and shoot up the police stations, it's not a smart idea. Because you people that are doing this may be the ones that will get shot at by other people that are going to stop you if you keep doing it. Because I'm not threatening you, because there's groups out there that want to stop you. Because what you're doing is going to cause a war in this country. And you're also going to cause the police to go fully militarized. They're already in the process of doing that. But when they go fully militarized, there will be no freedom at all in this country. It'll be martial law. It'll be nothing like it is right now. You won't be able to speak freely. The internet will be shut down. The news, the radio, everything will be controlled totally by the government. You will not be able to get nothing out unless you get approval or permission from the local and also government authorities before you can put something out on the air. I mean, what we have right now is a lot more freer. But if we go into that full martial law tyranny, believe me, it's going to be really bad, hellish. So stop attacking the police. I repeat, please stop attacking the police. If you have a brain, which I know you all do have a brain, please use that brain and find other ways on how to voice and your grievances, but don't resort to violence on the police. The police are not the problem. I know you're mad, everybody's mad, but the police didn't cause this. It's government, it's Obama and his administration and the administrations before him, like Bush and Clinton, and some of Reagan's policies weren't good either. But that's what caused this. And some of Jimmy Carter's stuff was questionable. That he did was questionable too. So Bush Senior and Junior, I meant to say, I just kind of put them all together. But all the stuff is all that's what you need to be mad at. And if you want to get mad at them, you need to go and call the congressman and do it that way and fight them with legal process. But don't go up there trying to shoot the White House or trying to shoot the Capitol building and all that, because all that's going to do is get you locked up, and it's just going to make the police become more military in nature. And that's what we don't want, because that's going to infringe on everyone's freedom. It's going to take it away. Infringe means take away. That's why in the Constitution and in the Bill of Rights, they use the word shall not be infringed, which means shall not be taken away. Infringe means when it's taken away or taken. Infringe, though it's not infringed, means it will not be taken or infringed upon. And that's what infringe means in the Old English. It means taken by force, or taken by government entity, or taken by foreign occupations. Like a lot of this TTP, like this TPP talks about, TTP talks about, that's the Pacific Trade Partnership, the Pacific Partnership Agreement, known as the TPP. Now, Obama and his administration, well, really solely Obama's been trying to push this thing through at a lightning speed because he thinks this is good for the American people. But the House, or the Congress and all, didn't vote on it because they feel that this, and a lot of people, now that they know what it is, a lot of Congress and all didn't vote on it because they don't think it's profitable or economical for the people, even though President Obama is saying, oh, yes, it is. No, it's not. All it's going to do is take away all your rights and all your freedoms and put us under total surveillance and total tyranny and total limitation, and it will cause all types of things, everything from guarding to businesses, all things. A lot of things will cease to function because there'll be too many regulations if that goes all the way through. But I'd be really careful because Obama might try to do an executive order and try to push this thing through because he's very determined to do just that, folks. So I just want to tell you, I'm warning you because I read this stuff, I study history, I'm very smart, I know what's going on, a lot more on the gauge than probably a lot of you because you all work and probably don't have time to read the papers or stay up on it, or you all just kind of run away because I don't want to hear it because I'm stressed out and I just want to go play with my video games and go play with my my computers and just kind of stay off and just let everything go where the chips fall where they may. That's not a good attitude or philosophy to take, but that's how a lot of you are acting because nobody wants to listen and do something about it constructively, peacefully. Notice how I said that, peacefully? That's what I'm talking about. We don't want to go to war. We don't want to have a war in this country. At least we don't want to, but if it goes to that, it will. But we don't want that to happen. If you keep firing on police stations like fools and dummies, it's going to escalate to that. So stop it. Okay? That's not how you're going to get your problems addressed by attacking the policemen. They're not the problem. The government is the problem. They're the ones you need to talk to. But shooting up buildings and things are not intelligible. They're not smart. It's not the way we do things if we have sense and we have a brain. So we need to use our brain, and we need to be wisely and stop, being in our groups. And it doesn't matter if we're gay, if we're lesbian, if we're straight, if we're transgender, we're whatever we are. we all need to come together because this all affects every one of us, no matter where we stand. I don't agree with all these things or those things I said, but we still need to forget our differences. If we're in gangs, or we're black or white, Ukrainian, whatever we are, whatever color, Muslim, doesn't matter. We're all Americans. Amen? So we all need to come together and forget about all this other stupid gang stuff, because it is stupid if you think about it. And, we need to come together and really work together as Americans to resolve this government that's gotten so lawless and corrupt, because we all need each other. We're going to need each other, and fighting and blowing up buildings and looting the police and shooting them and all that is not going to solve the problem at all. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. So please do things more constructively than that. Okay, all right. Also, The Rock had some scandal with Pastor G. With the sex scandal that was going on there, the debacle with all that. Come out to be, like we said, his brother, his other members that were in the congregation were in cahoots with his brother, that actually took advantage of his generosity, and also did it as an act of revenge, is what's come out, to assassinate his ministry and assassinate his character. And that's what they did by saying he had sex with these girls, allegedly, with teenage girls back in in the early 2000s, in Texas, But the thing is, whatever the case is, it's all alleged. It's not really true. And the thing is, they use this, and it's really ruined him. Now, Pastor G is a good man. I know he is, because I've heard him. I didn't actually talk to him. I wish I could say that, but I know my parents have talked with him because they're friends with him, and they know that he's innocent, and I do too. I just think people were jealous, and they were mad, and they didn't like the way he went after them because of their life, or the way they were living, and he got on them about things, and they didn't like it, and they were jealous because he had a lot of money, or looked like he had a lot of money, but he didn't. So they went after him, and as an act of revenge, as an assassination attempt to take his character away, and to take his ministry away. And that's, sometimes it happens in churches. So a new guy's going to take over The Rock, because that's a church that's done a lot of things. Pastor G will be missed there, but he's still a good person. But the thing is, there's another guy that's coming to run things, and he's going to try to restore that church back to where it was, or try to get it back in that right direction, at least anyway. The truth is, and I think the new preacher as well as Pastor G would agree with me, is that the only one that can really restore any church back to where it was is God. And we can kind of know what we do by what we learned in school, and by what we know by doing different techniques that we employed at other mega churches or other churches that we've used that were successful. But God is the only one that can truly deem that church will be restored. And it's up to the people there and how they're living and how their conduct is as a result of this change, why it's going on, as whether that is effective or not. So I guess in other words, what I'm saying is we're all living right and doing what we're supposed to be doing, and we're owning up to what we've done wrong, and we're repentive, and we're treating other people the same way with that same type of respect that we always want. Well, we want to give that same to other people. Then God will truly bless us as a nation and as a congregation and as a church body, because that's how it is. That's how it is in Scripture. That's not an opinion. That's how God does work. What I've seen, how He works in my life, in my real life, as a pastor myself, or a preacher, not a pastor, but an evangelist, and that's how He does serve and work. And if we don't treat people with kindness, and we don't treat people with understanding, and we act so judgmental, and we make up things and say a lot of things that shouldn't be said, and cause a lot of divisions, and showing videos to other people that don't know that I'm their cousin, but they go and show it to them so they can see how I acted, when yet they're only seeing one side of the video. They're not watching all the videos. They're only watching that video. Then how can they be any qualified to judge me on my merits about how I acted by showing them the video like he all did? And they don't even know the whole story. They only know what's in that video, the span of 12 or 15 minutes. So, I don't know how other churches or other people that he showed it to, which I don't think was very right, because I didn't show... it's out there on the internet for people to see, but I didn't go and show it to people privately like he did. Like to invite them over to watch, to evaluate me and what I did, which I don't think was right. But it's out there for people to watch if they want to watch it. but it's not out there to put EL down or to put Paul Green down. It is out there to help Paul Green to get the junk out of there, the bad stuff, the lies, the old people that were asked to leave that came back, the gossiping, the liars, the slanders, that are disturbing, the divisioners that are in there that want to cause great divisions and cause a lot of chaos. That's why I said that stuff. Not to put down the Church of Christ body in general or to put Paul Green down, but to get rid of that stuff because it's going to hurt everything you're doing in there, EL. I love you so much. You got to understand that, man. I do. I don't want to see that happen to you. And I'm warning you as an evangelist from one preacher to another. Please heed what I say. It's not an attack on you. Listen to the video again. Watch it again. Because it's not really directed much at you. It's mainly directed at Paul Green because of the things that have been going on there for years that have not been addressed. And they're still currently going on. So please, do not take it personal. Now, I'm sure the church did, because most people will. But what they need to do is take it and learn from it as a lesson and really apply and look at the church up close and make the changes. And if they have to ask people to leave, they need to do so. Because it's not, all the work you're doing is wonderful, it's great. But everything that's going on in that church, because they're still there and they're still doing their stuff, even though they'll tell you they're not. I heard what Darlene said to you when you asked her. She's still doing her stuff. She's still gossiping. She can tell you that to her face, but she lies. Because she did that when Aunt Sharon and Uncle Dave were there. I'm mad at the church because of the things they said about Grandma and Grandpa, I'm mad about the things that they said about you. I mean, not you so much, but about, what they said about Uncle Dave, your dad and your mom. I'm mad about what they said about them because it was not appropriate. It was not called for. It should not have ever been said because they did the best that they could. And they worked with what they had, and they did a good job. And maybe they didn't like some of the things, but they should have kept that to themselves. Because a good church would do that. They wouldn't go and air that out amongst the body like bad bread. And they did that. Debbie Biddle said some things, about Sharon and Dave, and Grandma and Grandpa, Leland and Jalora Short, that were bad, and so did Darlene in the past. And they're not saying it now, but it was very hurtful. And Woody was saying a lot of stuff. Of course, he's not doing that now, I don't think. He's really has repented and he's changed because he asked me if he could come back to church when Danny was there. And I said, yes. I took him over to the side and talked to him. And I talked to him, shared some scripture with him. And he said, yes, he's not doing that anymore. And I said, you're not going to do that no more. He said, yes. So Woody Heath, I think, is okay. But as far as Darlene Butler, or she was Leslie before, and Debbie Biddle, they're nice people, but they do gossip some, and not so much Debbie Biddle, but especially Darlene, and that's really hurt that church immensely, and that's why a lot of people left and why there were splits because a lot of that was going on because gossiping can't be in the church body. Paul spoke specifically about that. It attacks from within. It's like gangrene. So we can't, even at Paul Green or any church, even if it's Paul Yellow or Paul Rainbow Church of Christ, whatever the church color is, it doesn't matter. Whatever the name is, affiliation, whether it's Baptist church, it has this stuff going on it too. It doesn't matter what the name of it is. But the thing is, it shouldn't be going on. And if we're going to be growing and you want to get growing and you want to get on fire and you want to keep close to the Lord and keep thriving like you're serious, I thought that was wonderful, But the thing is, you got to thrive by getting rid of the bad junk that's in there, because that's going to destroy everything you're doing from the root of that tree that you had up there on the overhead. It ain't going to thrive because it's got a lot of, bad stuff around the roots, around the stalk that's still there. And all the work and efforts that you're doing, I love you, man, is going to go to waste. I mean, it's going to help other people, but it's going to really destroy a lot of what you're doing because it's still going on. So that's all I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to attack Paul Green, but of course you all took it personal. And you should not have taken it personal. I was trying to help because no one would listen to me when I was there, just like they're not listening to me now. It's all about me attacking the church. It's all about me being personal. It's all about me saying things about you. And it's not about you, really. Not so much. It's about what's going on there. It's still going on. Okay? So that's really what I wanted to say about that. So if, people, we have a job to do. We have to remember, as all churches and preachers and teachers and all alike, that if there's gossip, we need to discourage it at once. Gossip should not be in the church body. Okay? Paul was very, very clear on that point. If any shape or form of it, or any malice, or any kind of things that are in the church that will discredit or damage it one way, it's going to destroy it in the long run, because gangrene will kill a person. If a person's infected, they'll be killed within, a day or two if it's not treated or taken out of there, because it will spread quickly through the body by the blood, and it will kill, just like it will do in a church body, and it will kill that church from a congregation, of any church, I'm not saying Paul Green here, I'm saying any church. So please address those issues. For the love of the Lord, listen to me. Don't be personal. I love you. I am a preacher, and I love EL, and I love you all there who have been faithful, who aren't doing these things. Like Mr. Briggs, like Mr. Briggs, Wayne, I just name you. I name you. I love you. You're very faithful. You're very true about what you're doing. Mr. Purvis, he's a little shady. But and Mr. Briggs' wife, she's really nice and a good Christian. The Ledbetters are really nice. The Biddles are really nice for the most part, except for sometimes they can gossip a little bit. At least Debbie can. Because I've noticed that, sometimes she'll say one thing, but she'll act different. Like she'll say one thing, but then not do it. Like when I went there for Easter and I asked to sing in the choir, I understand about Christmas. She just walked right by me. She looked right at me. She heard me because I'm pretty loud, like you, E.L. She heard me. She looked right at me. And she just kept going like she had a rocket up her butt. But she looked right at me. And, I said, can I book? She said, she said, yeah, I'll go get you a book and CD and I'll give it to you tonight. And, she said she would go get it, but she was going to get it to me, not tonight, but that day, but she never got it to me. So I came the next time and asked her about it, and she didn't get it to me. So I stopped coming because, I asked to sing in the choir, and I could have sang in the choir because I'm a musician. I don't need to study a long time on it. Maybe everybody else does, but I don't. And I'm not bragging, but I really know how to sing and know how to read music, okay? And, I think you know that. But, but the thing is, I could have sang in Christmas, but all the people in there were women. I think she just wanted to have a women's group, so I understand that, for the Christmas thing, because it was nice, from what I heard. I didn't go to the program because I didn't have a way to get there, so. But if I did, I would have went. But Easter, I could have been in that. But, for some reason, Debbie never got the information to me, so that's why. And then when I asked you about, doing the Jacob series there, and I showed you the lesson and all, the outline, you wanted me to send you an email of it, but I didn't do it because, what's the point in me preparing it and putting it all together when, it's not you, EL, but the church there as a whole is just going to say no. And what's the point in me doing that when I'm not going to be able to teach there anyway? Because you already told me you're fine with the curriculum, and you're fine with the teaching, and you're fine with everybody that's there already in place. So that means no. And then y'all don't help me financially. That's my home church. What am I saying that's bad here? I'm just saying the truth. I tried talking to you all, not behind a camera, but I've talked to when Danny was there. I've talked to the eldership there. I've tried talking to you some. A lot of times it's hard to get you because you're always wanting to go real fast, or you're always talking to people, and I don't want to interrupt you, but I try to talk to you a little bit, but I can't because you don't have a lot of time. But this thing is, I need to talk to you because it's my home church, and I do need support here. I need some help from my home church because I have a church here for 4 years that is a growing church. It's not just started, but it did start 4 years ago, but I have not got a single support at all from Paul Green. And usually, if you come from a home church, usually your church supports you. And they knew that I was starting a church, Ariel, before you got there. They knew this, but they just didn't want to help in any way instrumentally. And that's really so wrong. It's like, well, they didn't want to ordain me either, so I had to go through the courthouse at Hanover to get ordained. And I did it. So, I paid $50 to do it. So, it's just one thing after another. I mean, because I've taught there, but I mean, everything I'm saying here is not hurt. It's not to slander the Church of Christ or to slander Paul Green. I'm just saying what really happened. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up, and I sure don't have issues because I talked to people, but they just weren't very responsive or did not want to help. Or they just heard me, but they didn't, they act like they didn't want to do anything. They're hands off. So, that's where we're at. So, but, I love you, and I love the church as a whole. And I'm not trying to slander the church at all. I just want, that me and you could do, I think if we got together there, me and you could turn this around. I think we could really build that church there. And we, and I would work, come and work with you and help you with that process if you want me to. And if the leadership will allow me to. But the way they treated me and the way they were, they probably won't. So, But anyway, I kind of got off on that because I just want to tell the truth about what's going on, what I've experienced there. They really were really nice to me, and they helped me when I was little. A lot of times, they helped me with school and all, and I don't forget that. But they don't help me with this church here. And then I got attacked by 3 of EL's friends because I actually looked that they were all EL's friends. Now he's conveniently taken me off of Facebook, and I don't know what happened to the Delmarva camp group, but I don't think I did anything wrong, but the group is either not there or he's deleted the group because I think he was doing it. I don't know what happened to it, but Delmar camp is not there. Nobody said anything to me, so I don't know what happened there. It's crazy. I guess that's how we are. We just delete people off or close groups down, and then we reinvent groups under a different name, and that's probably what they did. But EL, I think, is behind running that group on Facebook. And then they removed me from the Church of Christ ministers after what they did to me on Facebook. They assaulted my character. They defamed my ministry. I mean, these ministers, they did. They gave good suggestions in the beginning, but then they all just attacked me. It was one preacher, and then there was 3. And there were more there that were nice. So the ones who I'm talking about are the 3 main ones that assaulted me. And then that same morning after that happened, they talked to the admin there on that, on Christian ministers, Churches of Christ. The Churches of Christ, I'm on that one. I like that group. They're